Hi, ladies. Welcome to another Wow Masterclass. This one focused on identifying your goal-setting personality type. Now, remember, we are all created differently, and yet we all have similar traits and characteristics. So how can we harness the power of who we are in order to crush our goals in business and in leadership? Follow along with me in this masterclass, and today we will identify not only who you are as a personality type and what the best way is to set your goals, but who you can also partner up with to make sure you have a 95% success rate at crushing those goals you set for yourself each and every year. So let's move forward to harness the power of your personality in relation to goal setting and success. The greatest predictor of both your success and sometimes your failure when it comes to achieving your dreams is simply yourself. So in this session, we'll establish how your own particular goal-setting personality traits are helping you, but also hindering your chances of success. And we'll craft techniques that work just for you for making this knowledge work so you can be wildly successful in achieving your goals. Believe it or not, there are 4 different goal-setting personality types. Some of you might have done this in a personality dimensions course or a colors course or a Myers-Briggs course, but let's look at it, how it specifically impacts the way we set and achieve our goals. Green, gold, orange, and blue. But the question is, which one are you? According to Better Than Before author Gretchen Rubin, there are indeed different personality types that respond in different ways to setting goals. It's not the case that some people are better at setting and achieving goals than others. There are advantages and disadvantages to each of the 4 goal-setting personality types. Knowing which category you fall into will highlight how you can build a better framework around your future goals, meaning how you set them, how you map out action plans in order to achieve them, and ultimately how you celebrate them. Knowing what category you fall into will give you the best possible chance of success. So let's dive in and do a quick exercise, answer a few questions to find out which category do you fit into and how can we make the most of your strengths as a certain personality type. Over in the resources section of the membership site, you will also find a printable under the heading of goal setting or goal achievement, and you'll find this quiz there as well. So feel free to print it out and follow along with this masterclass. So again, it's a quick 7-question quiz to identify your goal-setting personality. Once you've identified your type, you'll find out how its characteristics influences your attitude towards goals. So let's talk about attitude. Question 1. Which of the following most closely aligns with your attitude towards setting annual goals? Is it A, if something's worth doing, let's just jump right into action and get it done? Why write it down? Or B, I'm much more likely to exceed if I buddy up with someone with a shared goal. C, I just like the concept of goals altogether. They are just too limiting. Or D, I set a deadline and create a plan with lots of mini goals I can achieve along the way. So go ahead and choose whether it's A, B, C, or D that applies to you. In question 2, I'm going to ask you to imagine that you want to learn a new language. Which system appeals to you in order to get that done? So is it option A, sessions with a private tutor who you can question about all the rules of the language? For example, why does the verb have to go at the end of the sentence? Question or option B, Small group classes paid for in advance with the final session just in advance of that overseas trip where you'll be able to put your learning into practice. Or C, forget a system. You want to be able to listen to a teach yourself audiobook when the feeling takes you. Chat to a native speaker when you get the chance and delve into other learning practices as and when you feel so inclined. Or option D, a teach yourself book with an ordered system of lessons and exercises that fit into a structured timetable. Tell me, which one would you choose in order to learn your new language? Question 3, we're almost to the halfway point. In a session with your business coach, you discuss the problem of having inadequate time in the working day to strategize and brainstorm creative ideas. Don't we all love doing that? So she suggests blocking out monthly time in your calendar to dedicate to this. How is this most likely to play out for you? Is it option A? First, you'll need to be convinced that this is really all that is necessary and understand the benefits it could bring. Or B, you'll give it a go, but you'll most likely succeed if the coach follows up with you, checking you've done it and what the outcome was. Option C, you don't like the idea at all, it just feels way too restrictive. Or D, you'll put the time in, evaluate results, and report back to your coach on your progress. Which one of this selection do you identify with the most? In question 4, and being completely honest with yourself, which one of these is the reason you're most likely to let a goal slip or become demotivated along the way? And don't worry, it's not a shame game. We've all let those goals slip before. I know I have. So let's figure out which one of these answers resonates the most for you. A, I sometimes spend too long doing research, thinking things through, collecting and analyzing, that I never get around to actually doing anything. Or B, if I'm doing something for a client or a customer or an employee or a friend or a family member, I'll always find an excuse not to do something that matters to me. So making sure, are you putting other people on your priority list and forgetting yourself? In option C, you might choose, I don't like following rules and timetables and protocols. As soon as I feel hemmed in, I lose interest and I want to do something else. Or option D, I stick to the tried, tested ways of doing things. Sometimes I wish I could be a bit more creative, but basically I do more things in the box than outside of the box, if you know what I mean. So which one resonates the most with you in question number 4? Select one and let's move on to question number 5. In question number 5, let's pretend you're facing a welcome quiet patch in your business. That little bit of breathing space that sometimes we just pray for. So how are you most looking forward to spending that additional time that you've got on your hands? So option A is an in-depth review of all business systems and processes, questioning everything that's done to see if there's a better way to do it. Or B, holding reviews with regular customers and clients. You want to know how you can serve them better and get a clearer vision of how to meet their needs. Or C, let's get innovative and creative. This is the time to explore new ideas, develop new programs, shake things up a bit. Or D, getting organized for the next busy time. Now, if you have time on your hands, how would you spend it? Choose A, B, C, or D. And then let's move on to the next question. In question 6, we'll ask you about what you've heard other people say about you. If you've been part of the WOW Tribe for a while, you probably have some colleagues or some friends, some mastermind inner circle group members that might describe you in one of the following ways. So how is your closest business ally most likely to describe you? A, thorough, detail-orientated, with an investigative mind. Or B, helpful, team-orientated, and does what they say or they'll do. Or C, a maverick, creative, and often likes to play devil's advocate. Or D, disciplined, orderly, and likes to play by the rules. Which one describes you best? Now, this is our final question, question 7. Let's take a look. You'll soon be attending a key industry conference. So, what's your approach? A, invest time beforehand in finding out who will be there and how the day will pan out so you can plan for the best use of your time. Or B, find out whom within your inner circle is attending and what they're interested in doing while they're there. C, turn up, see where the day leads you. Or D, you're already booked onto the most interesting sounding sessions and planned to eat lunch with some business associates. You've got everything planned out for the days that you attend the conference. So which one is you, A, B, C, or D? In this last question, this will be leading us into understanding what is your goal-setting personality. Now it's time to review your results. So you should have 7 questions answered, and there should be mostlies. You might have a mixture, but generally speaking, you should have something that fits into the mostly category. So evaluate whether you have mostly A's, mostly B's, mostly C's, or mostly D's. If you have mostly A's, you're probably a green personality type when it comes to goal setting. Greens value the strength of knowledge and really love the idea of debating, finding answers to their questions, always asking why. They dislike injustice and unfairness and express a cool, calm, and collected personality or persona. If you're mostly B's, you have blue personality type tendencies. The strength of the blue personality type is not only authenticity, but intuition as well. This is where trusting your gut in life and business gets you a long way. They value compassion, sympathy, rapport, teamwork, doing things as a collective versus working individually, and dislike insincerity, deception, or hypocrisy, and express a vivacity. They're enthusiastic, they're inspirational, and love personal development opportunities. Or C, you're looking at being an orange. One of the strengths of the orange is skillfulness, but they value freedom, they value grace, they value charisma and finesse, and they also value fun. Can you guess which personality type I am? They also dislike authority, boundaries, and rigidity. These are the people that say, hey, you know what? Some people think outside of the box. I don't even believe there is a box. Don't fence me in. Freedom is one of their core values. They express optimism. They're often seemingly impatient. They're very eager and very confident. Last but not least, if you have mostly D's, you would fit in the gold personality. Golds are tried, trusted, true, and traditional. Their great strength is loyalty and duty, and they value dependability, accountability, and responsibility. These are the personality type that are rule followers and rule makers, and rules were made for a reason. Whereas an orange personality can quite often say rules were always made to be broken. Golds dislike nonconformity and disobedience and non-traditional elements. They also express concern, stability, and purpose. Golds make great community volunteers. They love feelings of belonging by duty and responsibility. So which one do you fit into? And let's see in the next slides how it affects your goal setting type. So let's take a look at Miss Green. Miss Green, if you've had mostly A's in your test, you're a questioner. So sound reasoning and logic are the driving forces behind everything you do. You need time to mull things over, to process an idea, endorse its value before you're prepared to spend your precious time and energy on it. Nothing frustrates you more than having to rush into doing before you've had adequate chance to research, explore, think, and evaluate. Once you've made up your mind to do something, you'll stick to it, and you're unlikely to trip up and follow a dead end. On the other hand, you might find it hard to initially get going. Your need for information and data can sometimes lead to what I call analysis paralysis, where you're analyzing every which way you could go, but not actually going anywhere at all. So as a result, you might think yourself out of a new goal before you've even embarked on a plan. If you've had mostly B's in the last 7 questions, you might be categorized as a blue or the obliger. So let's take a look at this personality type. Say you're in a leadership role where you're a mentor and you have a mentee that asks you to attend a brainstorming session where you come up with some great ideas for her new business venture. Yet, you still haven't gotten around to carving out time for yourself to generate creative ideas for your next move of your own business or own leadership project that you're working on. Therein lies the conflict at the heart of every obliger. You never fail to deliver on outer expectations, but you'll always find a way to get out of those challenges you set for yourself, because somebody is generally more in need than you are. Or that's what you're telling yourself. You are motivated by others' expectations and always need that push from a client, coach, or someone who relies on you. You challenge yourself to do more exercise. You're far more likely to have success if you've booked with a personal trainer or committed sessions with a workout buddy. If you want to achieve something in your business life that nobody else is counting on, you'll need to think carefully about how you create those systems of external accountability. If you receive mostly C's on your 7-question test, then you might be very well an orange personality, or what I like to call the rebel. As a rebel, you live very much in the present, and if you're working towards a challenge, it's probably because it excites you right here in the moment. You face goals with a desire to do things differently, to think outside the box and break as many rules as possible. Sometimes breaking rules can be fun and innovative and creative. This is all well and good if your goal is to disrupt the traditional way of doing things. But your temptation to resist all expectations, whether it's your own or others, means you'll resist any idea of a timetable or process. You are motivated by freedom and choice, so you'll need to balance off a deadline or a traditional way of doing things with your spirit of adventure and refusal to be controlled. Last but not least, our final category of goal-setting personalities is the mostly D person, upholder, or what I call the gold. For our lovely woman in business and leadership who identifies as a gold personality, rules are there for a reason, and it's your job as the gold personality to ensure they're stuck to. That's the motto of the upholder. If there's an unmovable deadline that must be hit, it's you that people come to. Whether your New Year's resolution is to drink more water or increase sales by 33%, you'll create a plan and you'll stick to it. You wake up in the morning and think, what's on my to-do list today? And there's every chance that the list will be full of completion ticks by the end of the day or sooner. All this means is that you find targets pretty easy to stick to. Your motivation, where goals are concerned, is plain and simple fulfillment or completion. When you're crafting a plan as a goal, ask yourself if you're challenging yourself enough. And what other non-tried, tested ways might there be for getting from A to B? Is there something new, creative, that you might want to implement this time? Remember, as a goal, don't get stuck inside the box. Outside the box thinking will be very complementary to your getting things done attitude. So again, inch outside of your comfort zone by allowing yourself to wander off course and get more creative from time to time. You might find there's as much to enjoy on the journey as there is arriving at the final destination, or that final check mark against something on your list. So now that you've identified which personality type you have a preference towards, now remember, we all have elements of each personality type within ourselves. I always say we're all plaid. But when it comes to preference, we have preferences. We have a preference. We might be a little bit more orange with a combination of gold, or a high blue with a combination of green, or a high green with a combination of orange. So when you're thinking about your first color, it is where you naturally go, just as if you were writing your name with your right hand and you're right-handed. That is your hand of preference. But that doesn't mean that you can't write with your left hand and achieve the same things. So remember, it is a matter of preference on how you set your personalities. So let's get self-aware. The purpose of identifying your tendency or goal-setting personality is to understand the way your natural disposition or your preference enables you to successfully set and achieve goals. And also to identify the weaknesses that may be there holding you back. So let's spend a few minutes reflecting on what we've learned about each category that you fall into. What are the strengths and weaknesses of this category? And we've been through some of them in the previous slides. This time, ask yourself, and this is a great place to journal, think about a personal or business goal you successfully completed in the past. Ideally, one that really mattered to you. In what ways did your goal-setting personality aid your achievement? So if you were green, it might be that you were able to do the research to map out a plan of action to move forward. Or if you were orange, you might have taken a risk or taken yourself outside your comfort zone in order to achieve the opportunity you wanted to achieve. If you were a blue, you might have found somebody to be accountable to that will help you achieve. Or it could be a group project that you are working on to achieve together. If you were a gold, as simple as mapping out a plan, checking off those action steps might have been your greatest strength towards achieving the goal. So in what ways did your goal-setting personality aid or become a strength in achieving your goals? Take some time to think about that. Journal it, pause the video, and do some reflection. The second element of this exercise is think about a personal or business goal you set but haven't achieved. In what ways did your goal-setting personality limit you? If you were a blue, it might be that you have put other people's priorities in front of yours. And just in your helping nature, building relationships is really important to you. But again, did it hinder you by putting somebody else's priorities in front of your own? If you're a gold, some of your limitations might have been the fact that what was tried, tested, and true is no longer effective in achieving your goals. And it became difficult to be an outside-the-box thinker in order to move forward. If you're a green, the business goal you set but haven't achieved yet You might be still researching it, but remember the analysis paralysis. At some point, the research has to end and you need to move into action. Thinking about a current goal, in what ways does your new understanding help you? So I want you to journal on this process. You'll find some room in the resources file and the exercise files that you've printed off with this to really process this question. If there is one characteristic you could really utilize, what would it be? If there was one roadblock that you could overcome, what would it be? If you'd like to dive deep into these questions, then you can certainly join me in the Ask Michelle time, that one time a week that I'm live in a Zoom room waiting for you to come pick my brain on all these business questions. And if you want to have a conversation about how your personality affects your goal setting type, I'd love to talk to you. So check the calendar under Ask Michelle, and let's talk about how your goal setting personality types helps or hinders you. Let's do a quick recap. Remember, if you're a questioner or a green, don't get stuck in research and analysis. Remember, you have to move into action in order to achieve your goals. If you're an obliger or a blue, get an accountability partner to make the most of your external motivators. And remember to put your own priorities on the list, not just everybody else's priorities. If you're a rebel, slow down and write it down before you jump into action. I know it's exciting to jump off a cliff and then figure out how to make the parachute on the way down, but it's much more easier on your pocketbook if you make a plan before spending any money. So what happens with the rebel is jumping into action, then finding yourself overwhelmed and over your head, and often burnt out. So if you're an upholder or a gold, allow yourself some quiet time to get creative. Look at non-traditional ways of doing things. You might even work with a creativity coach to help you with that outside of the box thinking. Now let's look about how we can partner up with other personality types to build a yin and yang approach and balance ourselves out in order to achieve our goals. If you're a questioner or a green, your best buddy might be a rebel, because the rebel will push you out of analysis paralysis and into action, spurred on by that excitement and the research that you've already done. You'll be well on your way to achieving your goal. If you're an obliger, your best buddy also might be a rebel, an orange, or an upholder, a gold, to keep you accountable to putting yourself on the to-do list. If you're a rebel, your best buddy, again, might be a questioner to help you slow down and analyze the situation before you jump in. Or if you're an upholder or a gold, your best buddy might be a questioner who will question your tried, tested, and true beliefs and help you look for innovative ideas. So when you're ready to achieve your goals, look for these personality types that are complementary to yours, that will be able to help you spur towards those actionable steps that help you achieve your goals. Remember, accountability is everything, and we'll talk about that next. When we commit to giving an account to somebody else for our actions and goals, we take it to the next level. This is where your honesty is key. Asking someone to hold you accountable and then knowing you won't completely be honest with them, it simply won't work and may damage the relationship as well. Human nature is such that when we know someone is going to follow up with us and ask us about our progress, chances are it motivates us into action and towards the direction of our goals, much more than going on this journey alone. So having an accountability buddy, your new business BFF, or a partner is a powerful force, and if done right, can set you up for success. So here's a few things to keep in mind when choosing the right person, that business ally, that leadership partner that is going to hold you accountable to your goals. Choose someone who cares about you, but can be tough and honest. They need to care about you, and you have to know and feel that they care because you become vulnerable by making yourself accountable to them. They need to be tough and honest, though, because you don't want them to shy away from telling you to get on the ball when you're slacking, getting behind, or simply just not getting the job done. I think the expression tough love would fit appropriately here. In essence, they care about us enough to see us succeed and to be honest with us about our progress. Choose a person that you can be 100% committed to being honest with and give them permission to speak words of encouragement as well as words of challenge. Agree on a reasonable time frame in which you will allow them to evaluate your progress and hold you accountable. You might want to set up a regular date, whether it be monthly or even weekly, to assess your progress and hold each other accountable to your goals. The more often you meet, the more accountable you are, the higher your chances of success. Accountability can be a tremendous thing. The American Society of Training and Development did a study on accountability and found that you have a 65% chance of completing a goal if you commit to somebody, whether that be a business BFF, someone within your inner circle group, or your business coach or a mentor. And if you have a specific accountability appointment with a person you've committed to, you will increase your success rate by up to 95%. Now, who doesn't want to have that kind of success? So as you move forward into the next master classes on goal setting, I hope that you have found this to be helpful. What type of personality are you? How are you going to use the strengths and the weaknesses in order to move forward into your success? Share your results with the WOW members community in the Facebook group for members only. We'd love to hear how you're progressing on your goals so we can encourage you and keep you accountable so you can be wildly successful in business and leadership. Until then, we'll see you at the next masterclass. Bye for now.